Side by side, our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Sleep, hear the crickets, see the moon. Side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
Instead, we have the incomparable Joe Fury. Joe, are you there? Yes. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Yes. Joel. Joel Marshall.
What is his name?
Joel.
George?
No, Joel.
Thank you for having me, George.
It's Lunch Therapy, hosted by Joel Marshall. Are you Australian?
Yes.
You said what you are? Australian?
Yes, I'm from Australia.
That's weird, because I thought you were from Pacoima.
I'm from Perth.
Oh,
Yes,
Perth. Must be like a typo
grew up
or something.
little boy all through Australia, just frolicking about. And somewhere in my youth, they grabbed me and put me in Australian soap operas.
Do we have a clip from that?
We
That
have
would
a
be
clip?
great to see.
No? Australian soap operas are, they're all live. They're live. So
They're
they don't
live?
tape.
Yes. They make...
So I came to America.
Okay. America.
I got an accent coach because I needed to speak
like a
the
dialect coach.
American vernacular.
You mean like the American accent?
Yes.
Let's hear it. I'd love to hear it.
To hear my American accent, you just need to see one of my movies.
Oh, can we show a clip from... Do you well, like what? What's a good one?
I don't watch my own movies.
Oh, you don't watch the movies? Huh.
No, I just perform, and then, they come out, and people come up to me and say lines from the movies. I can't.
Oh, they do?
remember
Like,
them.
what do they say? What's one of the lines?
They say things like, "My name is Inigo Montoya." No, I don't even remember doing a movie like that.
I don't think you said that line. That's from The Princess Bride.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. I'm gonna get myself myself a motor. I'm gonna get 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 myself a motor. Yes. All right, here we are, everybody. Kamala Lopez is here.
Boy!
Boy.
Ritual meditation.
We're doing a little meditation here at the top of the show.
Together with the manta rays, let's take a few minutes to get the day off to a balanced start. We'll do this by allowing the rhythmic movements of these gentle giants to support us in some relaxed breathing. Take a minute to find a comfortable sitting position where your spine is supported.
No yawning.
You can comfortably see the video in full screen mode. As always, I like to recommend headphones to enhance your relaxation experience.
Is a meditation from the Manta Ray Advocates.
Begin to notice your breath.
One of our guests this year.
Initially, the only work to be done is to notice.
Martina Wing.
Without changing anything, notice how your breath is moving this morning. Notice how it feels entering your nose or perhaps your mouth. Notice how your upper chest, perhaps your lower belly, naturally expand and contract.
And my friend Gunnar is here.
Become
Hi, my
familiar
friends.
with what your breath wants to do in this moment.
Hey, Gunner's
controlling,
here!
no
Yay!
judgment.
John
Simply
Peckinpah's yawning
observing
too.
What
It's
is.
good.
Oh man!
Now honoring your comfort as paramount. On your next exhale, see if you can let go of your breath in a little slower and more relaxed way. At the end of the exhale, you may experience a pause, or you may not. It's all just as it should be.
I'm going to lower that now because we're all going to fall asleep if we don't look out. So, okay, so here we are. It is Interview Friday. We're heading towards the end of the year. So I wanted to take a little bit of a day here to reflect on what's happened this year, and then also look forward and see what's going to be happening in the future. So let's take our 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the toes.
Oh, I thought we already did that.
Let it go. Hold on, knock it off. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Todd thinks you're crying. In through the nose, out through the toes.
I'm seriously young.
You seriously are. There's no yawning in lunch therapy. All right, so here we go. Let's get into the show because I'm going to lose Camila any second.
God, well, that music's not gonna help.
That's not going to help either. We're going to get some rock music.
This party started.
Get this party started. All right, so let's get this thing going. All right, Camila. First of all, Kamala Lopez. Who is Kamala Lopez, and how did she arrive on the show?
Is that a question for
Yeah, that's a
moi?
question for you. That's a question for you.
Kamala Lopez is the wife of Joel Marshall's lunch therapy.
Yeah,
Kamala Lopez is in therapy with Joel Marshall every lunch, and some not Tuesdays and Fridays.
that's right. Let's do some ASMR because I think maybe that'll help us.
I love ASMR.
So we have here.
Freezing, but maybe not so much right anymore.
What did you say? You're freezing?
Well, somebody asked if I was cold, and so
Yeah.
I had been, but now I'm a bit better.
Camila asked if you're cold. All right, so we've got this ASMR soap, which is it's Squid Game ASMR. So let's take a look at this.
Oh, I love it when it's wow, I love that. Oh my God.
Isn't that cool?
Ah. Oh, I love that.
So this is ASMR soap, and she does these crackling, weird crackling things too, besides soap.
So good.
And if for anybody who has seen Squid Game,
Yeah.
you know that these are in the shape of characters from the Squid Game, and also coffins from the Squid Game.
I really, really want to do that.
Loretta is here. Hi, Loretta. What'd you say?
Am I muted?
Are you muted? No.
Can we buy those from her to do that ourselves? I would like.
I would think so.
Let's
She
get-
actually has a thing on there where she makes them.
I've watched her make the
Yeah.
soap thing.
She shows you how
Whoa,
she makes them.
Look at it go. My Lord.
It's cool, isn't it? Do you find it therapeutic?
I find it enthralling and exciting.
It's pretty cool. Let's just let him crush one of the Squid
Oh!
Game guys.
Oh! Hopefully that was not Frontman. Probably would not like it.
Loretta says she's too scared to see Squid Game.
I can understand that. It's really quite terrible. Oh.
Neil finds it quite erotic.
Maybe that's it, Camille. Maybe that's what's getting me. I'm finding this very, it's charging me up, Joel.
Maybe, all right. Maybe it'll wake some of us up this morning, right?
You know?
This afternoon. All right. Yeah, it is. It is somewhat erotic. Maybe it's the fingernails. Maybe it's the.
What's this?
Remember this?
Oh my God!
Oh no! That means that you're gonna get killed. All right, so let's move on.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Okay, let's see what else we have. We have the NASA live streams from space.
Yeah.
This is the live stream.
Big.
Are you not a space fan, Kamala?
Whatever.
Todd Lee says that Gunnell once made love to someone in college that made that sound well in action. That's why he's.
Wow. Sounds like an.
That's why it's stimulating. It is stimulating somehow.
Sounds like the brittle bones of an old lady in Gunnell.
Oh, yes. I find this very soothing and relaxing. And also, I mean, just looking out at the planet.
What planet? That's our
Earth.
planet?
That's our planet, Earth. Those are the northern lights, I believe. It looks like it, at least. I wanted to tell you about something. So we have some breaking news before we get to the retrospective of Interview Friday. There's a thing. Are you aware of this telescope called the Webb Space Telescope?
Oh my God, Joel.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're about to tell me about, and I was going to tell you about this because it blew my effing mind.
It's pretty incredible. So, and I think I'm hoping that everybody knows about this, but there's a telescope that's going to be going into space very soon. Maybe in like a week. It might have gotten pushed back again. It keeps getting pushed back, but maybe even before the end of the year. This is going to be a $10 billion space telescope called the Webb Telescope, the James Webb Telescope, and it's going to see into the past because it's very complicated, but light takes a long time to get to us, and so it's going to see the very edge of the universe, and that we'll be able to see 13.5 billion years ago. And this thing is unbelievable. So we'll be able to see the first planets forming. We'll be able to see the first galaxies forming. And something that they found out recently is that every star that you see in space has at least one planet rotating around it, orbiting it. Some of them have more than one. They're going to put this telescope on the Ariane 5 rocket and launch it from French Guiana. And it's bizarre because it's folding up like like origami to fit in the top of this rocket. Does ASMR exist in space? It's a good question. We're going to have to ask Elon Musk, even though he's never been there. Who are we and what are we doing? It's a good question. Mind-boggling what this thing can do and see. Yes, it is mind-boggling.
So one of the things that I heard when I was listening to a program about it was that they had spotted something that looked like a red blob.
Uh-huh.
And what it actually was, what they believe it was, one of the first galaxies ever formed. And like you said, they can learn a lot about the Big Bang, about the formation, the creation of the universe,
Yes.
from looking at that distant red blob. This is all very stressful, Joel.
Is it?
I don't know if you're aware that I'm a philosophy major. This is all very, very stressful to me. I don't know about anybody else.
Well, okay, so what I find really interesting is there's a thing called TRAPPIST-1, which is a planetary system that we know about that has 7 planets orbiting it. And 3 of those planets are what they call in the Goldilocks zone. And the Goldilocks zone means that
Not too hot.
it's just, yeah, it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. We humans could live there, essentially. And so they're going to, once they launch this rocket, once they unfold it, which will take a couple of weeks to unfold it. But once they do that, we're going to find out about places like that. Right now, all we can do is just kind of observe that they exist. But we're going to be able to see like the density of the planets and all kinds of very specific things about these planets and other things that are out there in the solar system. So, I mean, not in the solar system, in the universe. Yeah.
However, the curious thing about it is that we're going to see and learn stuff that happened millions of years ago.
Yes.
So we don't actually know what the status of that very same thing is in the present.
Mhm.
We know what it was 13 billion years ago.
Right, which will give us all kinds of information about our future, however, because we'll be able to see into the past and see how other things were formed and then what happened to them over time. And so it's basically a time machine for the future and the time machine for the past. That's it folding into the top of this rocket. And then it's going to unfold, which is the craziest thing. And it's pretty, I mean, we might end up just having like a piece of garbage out there because it's so, there's so many things that could go wrong. Apparently there are 300 things that could go wrong that cannot be fixed. And it's going to be like 1 million miles away from the Earth. So we won't be able to go out there and fix it. So that's pretty crazy. Anyway, so that's a look into the future.
Can I just ask a question?
Mhm.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If we are capable of doing things that are this advanced technologically, why are we incapable of capturing carbon emissions and using them for some other purpose instead of allowing it to fuck up the climate? I don't understand why the focus isn't on that instead of just like an exit plan into an unknown fucking abyss. It's just so stupid.
I think that actually that can help because we'll find out more about how other planets work. And that will actually help us understand our own planet and understand what we're doing to our planet and also what we can do to reverse those kind of effects. I think people are working on that. I do think that this is a pretty huge gamble, a $10 billion gamble. So hopefully it goes well. We're going to know more later on, maybe this month. maybe early in November. But I think we should be tracking this thing and really, once the thing starts getting into space, it'll be very exciting. I think. Very exciting. It's got these giant mirrors, and all the mirrors, they have to focus on this one single point. I don't know, it just seems like so many
It's all
things
seems
should happen.
like a really cool game that people can get into, but Neil is absolutely right.
What did he say?
If there's nobody left to see or hear the transmission, does it matter how fucking smart we think we are?
Yeah,
At the end of, and do we want to export this species and propagate this horrifically violent, uncontrolled species and sick it on the rest of the universe?
it's a good
Frankly, I
point.
don't think so. I think we need to, fix ourselves before we start exporting our own bullshit. And we clearly have not. I mean, we can't even feed. We left Afghan. People are starving right here, right now, and those $10 billion would solve all of that.
Yeah.
So,
Guignol says that, Kamala, you need a vacation.
you know what? I think I'm getting one. If all goes as planned, Joel is. I don't know if we're allowed to discuss these things in lunch therapy, but Loretta will understand. Joel's feeling a little anxious about traveling, understandably, given what's been going on the past couple of weeks here, with a 46% increase in infection rates in Los Angeles, and everybody traveling this week. So Joel
Yes.
is a bit nervous.
All right, so we're traveling. That's kind of an announcement on lunch therapy. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks because we're going to be broadcasting from an undisclosed location, and we're going to see what happens. So Tuesday should be very interesting. So stay tuned. But now it's time for a little retrospective on Interview Friday and the last year that's been going on. There's Guy Murray. He was also a guest on the show this year. I want to say thank you to all the guests on the show. I was looking back at some of the interviews, and it's been an incredible year. Safe and happy travels. Yeah, we're going to have to. Howard's going to be our flight attendant. Thank God. I'm going to bug him about the Wi-Fi. Is there Wi-Fi on this flight or what? That's one of my favorite Howard Aronin jokes.
2 hours, though, Joel.
Or poems. Yeah.
It's only a couple of hours. Lauren is right. I think in his comment, it's time we think about the future of our own planet.
Oh, he's totally right.
I'm thinking maybe we should drive if you were scared of going to the airport and going through all of that. And I asked Siri, and it would take 1 day and 2 hours.
Okay, I'll do that then. Let's do that.
You will? You do? You
I
will?
know you were surprised. You were surprised. No, I don't know. I don't know if that'll be any better. As long as Howard's my flight attendant, I'm fine. Totally. Man up, Joel. You'll be fine. Woman up, Todd. Are you coming home? Not this time. What?
Not this. We're going to meet Ganel and Mulva.
Yep. In Mexico. Edmonds is lovely this time of year. We're planning on next year, perhaps, going to Edmonds.
For Thanksgiving.
For Thanksgiving. That's the plan. All right, so let's see what else. Now, let's see. Camila, maybe you should take Joel's nuts out of the mantle. Wait, Todd, come on now. I'm just careful. I'm careful. All right, here we go.
I'm not
so
involved with nut storage situation.
Here is something. Okay, so this year, so far on Interview Friday, we've had over 70 guests. And I was looking back at this year because it was such an incredible year for the guests on the show and so many interesting surprises. I made this little montage of some of the stories it's like 4 different people that have been on the show. So let's take a look at that. First one is Marty Krofft, which was one of my, when I started the show, I was like, I really want to get the Krofft brothers on the show. And so I was lucky enough to get Marty Krofft. Here's a little story that he tells. when he was on the show. Oh,
And I was in New York, and somehow I was with Jim Henson, and he asked me, "What are you doing next?" And I said, "Richard Pryor." Was in the middle of the winter. And as he left the room, I said to myself, why did I tell him this? I don't have Richard Pryor.
no way.
Okay. So that was already a problem. Richard Pryor had a lawyer called Skip Brittenham. There was a lawyer for me when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called up Richard when I got back to LA. I said, Richard, you got to set me up with Richard. Okay. I got a show for him, just get me in the room with him. So Skip had me come to Warner Brothers, and oddly enough, there was nobody there but Richard Pryor and him, and that was good. So Richard Pryor's place, okay. He said, okay, I'll do it. I was badgering him. He said he would do it, and then 2 days later he called, he ain't doing it. Then he's doing it, and he's not doing it. And he's doing it, and he's not doing it. And it was that bad.
Yeah.
So now I called up Skip Brittenham. I said, Skip, you can't, how are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
This ain't right. So now he finally said he would do it. And now we're building the sets. We've got a couple $100,000 in the sets already. They come to the studio, and Skip Brittenham says to me, Rich is sitting there, he doesn't want to do it. I said, we've already spent $200,000-$300,000 on the sets. He said, don't worry, Rich has got a check in his pocket. He'll give you all the money back. All right. I said, I don't want the money back. I said, Richard, come take a walk with me. So I took a walk with him. I had known him years ago, earlier in the late 50s, when he was a stand-up. And so anyway, he decided to do it. And then, he drove me somewhat crazy, but he was a major talent.
Yeah.
And, there's a whole bunch of other stories you don't have time for.
Yeah.
But I got him to do the first season. I don't think we got that deep, but you say, how do you create things? I'll give you the Sigmund one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you my brother's story. So can't verify it,
Yeah.
but sounds like it could be.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's sitting in La Jolla on a rock with a friend of his facing the ocean. So he sees the seaweed that looked like somebody in the ocean. So he went down and got the seaweed, put the seaweed in the back of the Corvette, named it Sigmund, and drove to the office, told everybody in the office, and then we were looking to arrest him. We didn't believe it. But that was the story.
Rehearsal one night for True West, and Billy Peterson was doing, I think he was doing Belly of the Beast, and I was doing A Man Who Came to Dinner down at Columbia. Lori and I were the guest artists, and the rest were students. And Terry was like, we need to have a rehearsal when you guys are done with your show. And we're like, it'll be midnight. And he's like, yeah, everybody will be loose. So we were like, Billy and I drag ourselves in there. We're exhausted. And we start the rehearsal. And, the character of Eddie brings in a bottle of tequila from his pickup truck, and he chugs it throughout the whole play, basically.
Yeah.
And then there's one point where May turns to him and she said, oh, is this how it's going to be? All right, fine. And she picks up the tequila and shoots it and slams it down.
Yeah.
And when I did it, I put it down and I went, because it was real tequila.
Oh my God.
Not put there by Billy. Put there by the director.
Really? Oh.
And I even, when I first met him, he came on the set, I shook hands with him. I called him Sir Patrick because I knew he's 90. So I called him Sir Patrick. He's like, Patrick. I was like, okay.
Okay. Oh.
And I was like, just zip it and just hi, and that's it. But I have to tell you, there's an episode of Star Trek that really defined my wanted to leave my hometown and really just go to Atlanta, move to Atlanta at first, and then move to LA.
Yeah.
There's an episode called Tapestry, and I think it's season 5 episode. Oh God, I used to know it by heart.
Really?
But it's called Tapestry. That's the episode.
Yeah.
It's season 5, and it's basically about him going back and Q giving him his life back. So he came back as a blue ensign, and he realized that he should have been the guy he was. He was trying to change the way he used to be. And he ended up being this lonely ensign walking around doing tedious work instead of being Captain Picard as we know him.
Mm-hmm.
I had that episode changed my life. And I gotta tell you, when we were done shooting our scene at noon, we were there from 6 a.m. to noon that day. I basically walked up to him and said, "Listen," he said, "Great work with you." He said, "Good working with you too. I have to tell you something. Your episode on Next Generation, I'm a Trekkie, so my episode of Tapestry was one of my favorite episodes. It changed my life." And he looked at me and said, "Wow, you're not the only person that said that to me."
Really?
Yeah, he did. He said, and he said it was such a fun episode too. And we talked for a little bit. I will get to everything we talked about, but I can tell you this: when I got out of my trailer, gave him my costume back, got in my car, and left, got on the 5 freeway, I just started bawling like a baby.
Did you?
I mean, yes. I was like, I'll never. I mean, because it was like I couldn't believe, because it just seemed like it was full circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was doing 20 miles a day. Most of the time I was doing 20 miles a day. So I would do 10 in the morning, rest during the hot afternoons, and then 10 in the evening. And it's just easy. It's so easy when you tell people that, because you're just, if the only thing that you have to do all day is just get from point A to point B, makes it easier.
And then when you got there, you spray painted ERA Now.
I actually used paint and a brush.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I just let it go when people say spray paint, like when they write it. But I actually I poured stiletto red water soluble washable paint into a Starbucks cup, and then I brought my Starbucks cup and my paintbrush, and I just walked right up to the Capitol building, broad daylight on a Sunday, and I was really nervous that I wouldn't get out the whole thing. Yeah. So I started out by writing ERA in, and then a space, and then W, because I didn't want to get stopped before I wrote the W. Like, I didn't want it to say ERA no. And if it said ERA and W, that would have been fine, because ERA Natalie White and W.
That's what I love so much about these interview Fridays. It's the stories that people tell.
Natalie's so awesome.
Natalie, yeah, she's awesome. That was a great story about Picard also, meeting your idols. People don't always want to meet their idols, but sometimes it's a really good thing. And that story, that the tapestry story, I don't know, that really spoke to me too. The other thing that we've had on the show this year is a lot of impressions, a lot of impersonations, a lot of accents. Wow, yeah. And so I made a little thing about that, and I want to show that next.
With him, if you'll remember during the run up to the election, he was, and this, I have to tell you, and then it was all gone. Then it was all gone. Bing bong, bong bing, bing bong, and it was like, I was like, where did this come? Bing bong. I've been following this guy for decades. All of a sudden, he's saying bing bong, bong, bing bong, and he did that for like a year, and then it disappeared. Wow. And then during the debates with Hillary Clinton, he started doing this. I have to tell you, because we're going to do an absolutely fantastic job. It's going to be really, really incredible. It's just going to be amazing. We want to make her happy, don't we? Don't we want to make her happy? I'm thinking, is this guy on Adderall all of a sudden? Like, where did this come from?
What do you
Right.
do? Do you try and look for the origins of like where this stuff is coming from? I mean, what?
Oh,
what do
absolutely.
You do?
In any voice that I do, like someone's like Jay Leno. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. How is everything? So I started, just so you know, like I started doing voices and impersonations when I was 5 years old.
Oh, really? So this was just
Wow.
something that you were just like onto because you love
Yeah,
it.
like right out of the box.
So
And
cool.
my neighborhood, I'm from outside of Philadelphia in a YouTube in a town called Ambler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But it's a row home neighborhood. So
Oh.
my neighbors used to sit out at night. This is the late 60s, early 70s, and I would watch Ed Sullivan or whoever was on, John Biner or David Fry, people who influenced me, who are great voice comedians and actors. And I would just come out and do their act. And I would be, now right here on our shoe, right here on our shoe. And my neighbors were just amazed by this 5-year-old precocious
5
kid.
years
and then
old? Oh my God.
I was 5-6 years old because I could hear it and I could I can do that voice. I could, I could do James Cagney. I could do Humphrey Bogart. And, but, ironically, I had a severe speech impediment.
You did.
So when I did the voices, the impediment was disappeared. And then when I would speak normally, people told me I sounded like Elmer Fudd. It was very thick when I talked. It was very difficult for me to talk properly. And then I got into first grade and they diagnosed me and I spent 8 years in speech therapy. I went to speech therapy twice a week.
Wow.
And they taught me how to speak properly. And one of the things was they taught me the mechanics of sound and vocal production and all these things.
Wow.
And because of that, it kind of gave me a more scientific approach when I'm doing different voices, baby. Yeah.
What a wonderful guy. I mean, really represented a lot of freedom and imagination and don't worry about anything. And then sadly became it's Christopher Walken. So thank God he saved me from going into another kind of sad tribute to Robin. It's sad that it happened. Who is that? Oh, Robert Downey Jr. This is a very youthful picture of Downey Jr. He seemed to be a little not quite as cut as he is today. Anyway, what a remarkable career he's had. And let's not forget John Malkovich, who, among other things, is a remarkable fashion designer. And not too many people know that, but
He really is.
It's true. And probably wearing a scarf of his own design, I wouldn't be surprised. Ask Morgan Freeman. Do you think Morgan Freeman had any idea that he would become such an iconic voice? I wonder. I really wonder.
Remember him on the Electric Company? I remember you on the Electric Company.
Yeah, sure. You can see him on YouTube. I'm sure he wishes he could gather all those pieces of footage up and destroy them.
Joe Pesci, okay. So Joe Pesci, talking about people that have other careers. Joe Pesci has to be a really good jazz guitar player.
Is he?
And singer. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
Look
that
him up
about you,
on
Joe
YouTube,
Pesci.
too.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he's a very, artists are often very multifaceted, the polymaths. So
why did you
check
kind
him
of
out.
stop acting, Joe Pesci? What happened? I mean, you recently did The Irishman, but there was a big gap.
I did that. Yeah, big. I got other interests. I'm not just. I don't want to just be in mafia movies all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I played enough
Oh,
psychos.
there's
you know
Morgan
what I mean?
Freeman again. Oh,
Oh, it's me again.
that's your
Mama.
mom. I know you don't have to do an impression of your mom.
Everybody's telling me I got to do it. So now, of course, my head is spinning out of. I'm like,
I know, the
she
chat
does this thing
room
where
is going crazy for the Kim
She
Diaz.
sort of listens. She sort of listens, and then it's like, well, because
Oh, that does sound like her.
well, no, because there's different things.
Oh my God, you sound just like her.
No. So she does this funny thing. It's an inflection between, and she has this great serious tone, but she's full of love.
Yeah.
And she does this, and she sort of shuts her. No. So it's this sound mixed with this thing. And Cynthia always, we start laughing. And first of all, Kim, if you hear this is all love because I adore you. So it's like,
Oh my God, everybody loves her.
hopefully, she's one of the funniest. But there is this like, well, no, because, and it's not really, because she doesn't have an English a New York accent, but there's like she does this thing often. And then, if you watch her ordering a menu, off a menu, it's a fascinating thing. Oh my God. Excellent.
Everybody
Wow,
thinks
this
it's
is
so
great.
good. Yeah, it is really good when you did that.
But it is, it's sort of like this, no, that's not the case. So it's sort of this thing.
It's so spot on. Sounds just like her.
No, because I said so.
Let's say Britishise that. I'd say, are you Joe? So it's like up, down, up.
I like that, how
Right,
they
so-
are like
and
all
it
up and down.
All up and down. It's for yes or no question. It's not like, what's the meaning of life? That wouldn't go up and down. Right?
What
But if
is
you
the
had a
meaning
yes
of
or no
life?
question- Well, I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know.
It's something
Right?
comical
Too
too.
often
I mean,
later.
for comedy, like I would
Oh
say
my God,
Monty
love it.
Python, they used that a little more. Do you think they used a little more of the modulation?
has ceased to exist.
Right. They like exaggerate it. Their own
Yes.
accent, their own
And
language.
that's taken. So I always say, like, it's like a knob. You have a subtlety knob. And you want to live at a 5 because then you have room to go up if you wanted to do crazy over the top parody, or down to a 1 or a 0, barely recognizable. Right? You have that room to kind of play if you live at a 5. But the problem is a lot of people come in at a 10. Get to the chopper, and there's really nowhere you can go from there. But if you came in at the 5 and now you're talking like Arnold, then you can go up and down, right? You can be a little bit less, or you can be a little bit more because you've established the precedent, right? And
Oh my
that
God,
kind of,
Turkey.
I love Arnold. I've been doing Arnold impressions forever.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people just have that one line, get to the chopper, or, hasta la vista, baby. But really, if you listen to him talk, and even over the years, it's a different Arnold, right? Like, Terminator Arnold is way different than Jingle All the Way Arnold, even. And like Governor of California Arnold, and present day Arnold. The vocal folds get stiff after a while. So like maybe today he's kind of talking like this, right? A little bit different, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of a little bit less than when he was before, and like he's down here, right? More bassy, right? But I love analyzing all these things like knobs and dials on a switchboard. You can add bass, you can add and rasp, you can add, right? Depending on if you want to do impressions, right? So rasp, Yoda has the inverted direct object, right?
Yeah.
So Joel Marshall you are, right? That's one of his features.
Yeah.
And anything can be broken down, just like an impression, just like an accent.
The chat room thinks you're a genius. I think he is a genius.
I decided that I'm going to start taking classes with Jordan Yanko.
With Jordan Yanko. Yeah, everybody should.
I mean, just to develop some of those skills and be able to do that. How great would that be?
Yeah,
Get to the
Oh yeah, to have all that facility that he has, it's just incredible. I also had forgotten about Jim Meskimen, how I was just showing him pictures and he was doing those impressions. That was unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him.
On. You can't have that whole thing with about Kim and her whole way of being without showing her.
Oh yeah, we got to get Kim on here. We've got to get Kim on here. Well, so yes. So in the future, I would love it if people would give me ideas for guests, because the sky's the limit. We can get all kinds of great people on the show, and I really am feeling grateful for the people that have been on the show, and I want to say thank you to everybody out there who's been on the show, and I look forward to having more people join us. So this has just been a little bit of a look back. I wanted to show you one of my favorite moments. I mean, this is
trying to join us.
What'd you say?
This guy's trying to join us. Tell us.
This
who
guy
he is.
behind us, he's a muskox. He also joined us on the show. I guess I got to also say thank you to all the animals that have joined us on the show, because the animals are a super important part of the therapy that is lunch therapy. Absolutely.
Howard said, wait. Oh, wait. Matthew Ryan, the musician.
Matthew Ryan, the musician. Oh, that's who I should have on?
Oh,
wait.
Okay, and wait.
How did you and Camila meet?
Oh.
The old story.
How did we meet?
That old yarn.
Well,
I'm not going to say what I usually say.
What I can say is that Joel has Nicolette Sheridan to thank for.
I do, don't I?
You really do. What happened was I was directing a short film, and I put a breakdown out, and I got 1,500 submissions, and we called in, I guess, about 30 or 40 actors, maybe. And
You
then
called in 30 or 40 actors for that role?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty thorough. Shop until you drop.
Well, it's so important.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was the lead in the film. And then we watched the tape. Then we called back. I think we called back 15 people. And you were called back. I was enamored with you from the moment I saw you.
There was chemistry right there.
He's so cute. And you were super nice. Anyway, Nicolette Sheridan was over the house, and we were watching the videos. Todd Lee, I don't think you can say short film anymore. Length challenge.
That's right. You can't say that.
Yes.
Putting them down.
And Nicolette just watched Joel's audition and said, well, clearly he's the one you have to pick.
Wow. I got to get Nicolette to hang out with some other casting directors as well, right? And then did you agree, or were you like, that guy? The hell?
No, I totally agreed. And then we made this short film together, and it was very, very lengthy. The whole process of rehearsing.
But we had a blast.
Lengthy. We had a great time. And then we had all these challenges, and Joel kept helping me. Because most actors are not that helpful, let's be honest. They show up, they're like, where's my coffee? Where's the makeup room? And then they do their thing, and then they're out. But Joel was like, we had to drive this truck back. I don't know why I was wearing a shower
Remember
cap.
that when we had to return the truck after we shot this movie. And it was like early in the morning. We had to get it there by a certain time.
2 days or something. But
We've
why
been
was
up.
there a cap on my head?
You had a robe on or something. And remember, I like almost obliterated some car.
Yeah.
I was driving this gigantic truck, and Camila was like behind me. And Camila's not usually for some reason, no one ever trained her to stand in the mirror and do this thing and this thing that people do when you're backing up. So I assumed she was going to tell me if I was going to hit something, because I couldn't see that much because she was standing right there. Just watching me just about run over a parked car with this giant truck.
You did knock the window off of the truck, right? Or was that a different one?
That was when we went to get the pots in Mexico. We've been together for a long time. Lots of truck damage.
Anyway.
Under promise, over deliver. Todd's on me. He's on me today.
Loretta said, when was this? God damn it. I think it was the Paleolithic era.
It was definitely a while ago. It was a while ago. Let's just say a while ago. Yeah, it was at the turn of the century. Turn of the millennium.
And our film was never saw the light of day for various strange reasons.
It was about a couple. It was about a couple who was burglarizing their own apartment, and you don't really find out until the end. And actually,
they were looking for some cheap thrills. They were looking to spice it up, so they decided to burglarize their own apartment. And they ended up screwing up their marriage.
It is they break into the apartment, and then they have this weird sex where they're completely clothed, and there was just so much sexual tension going on between us, because there was no inappropriate behavior, but there was so much sexual energy between the two of us that it came out in the work. And we were also so not willing to really take off any clothes or anything. So there's this clothed sex scene in it that we like to call burglar sex.
It's as if we didn't realize how sex actually occurs. And we thought that the way it occurs is you just sort of keep all your clothes on and just Go
That
for
was
it.
hilarious. Loretta says, was Nicolette in the film?
No.
No.
She was
Nicolette
hanging
was
out
just,
hanging out and giving her critique
Yeah.
of the various
so yeah. So we hit it off so well.
And Joel
a few months
smashed
later, we started dating.
car, and
Oh, and
Mercedes was in the driveway.
Hey, look, nice to see you again, Camila. Hello.
Nice. Oh, Catriona.
That was the thing is, Nicolette. Okay, that's one other story. Back in the day, we were at our house and I was like, I'm going to go out and get cigarettes for everybody. Back in the day when people smoked cigarettes. And I got in my car and I backed up and I smashed into Nicolette Sheridan's super nice top of the line Mercedes that was parked in front of our driveway.
Quite fussy about cars. She really takes great care of cars.
It was such a testament to her love for me that she didn't kill me. Oh
yeah.
I remember the feeling too after I hit that car and just like, oh no, now I have to go back. That was a nightmare.
Do I not have the cigarettes?
Yes. But now I have to go back in and explain how I just smashed into her car. All right, I'm going to show one more clip. It is just a funny moment that occurred that I with Gunnar Rohrbacher when I had him on the show, and it was just like a little surprise.
Gunner's the best.
With Gunnar and Judd. So here we go. So the setup is basically we were doing a contest. We were going through the different archetypes from Gunnar's incredible book.
The Comedy Code.
The Comedy Code, yeah.
Suggest everybody check it out. Where'd it go?
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
I left you on my show for a second.
There it is. Yeah.
So anyway, the Comedy Code, great book. We were going through the different archetypes, and then
Howie.
And then thanks for that. You're welcome, Howard. Stories are so much fun. Best thing about lunch therapy, I think. All right, so I'm going to show you this clip of when I surprised Gunnar with Judd Nelson.
Was.
How about this guy? This is from a movie. This is from a movie.
Yeah.
So there are archetypes in movies, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, identifiable, relatable characters. Producers need characters to come on screen, and we get who they are, and we get what voice they're bringing to the club.
I'm guessing a rebel, right?
He looks like a rebel to me with those gloves. Are you kidding me?
Me too.
He's lighting a match in school, Joel. He's a bad boy.
He is a bad boy. Okay,
Look at that.
Let's see. What about this guy? This seems to be Judd Nelson here. Wait a minute. What's he doing here?
Judd Nelson.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, you sound great.
Well, someone used enmity.
Oh.
I think Leonard used the word enmity.
See, Joel?
Oh yeah. I also want it goes to the next one, which is this fun moment where we had magic on the show. Yeah, with Howie.
You still there, George?
Oh, that was amazing.
Hi, George. Wasn't this amazing?
George, you there?
That whole thing.
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Okay.
Probably because you're outside. Okay. So, George, this is Joel. This is a show called Lunch Therapy. Okay. We're online right now. This is Howard. And here's what we need you to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Howard here, I'm trying to make a prove that we're all connected in some way. And we're trying to make a connection with people all over the world, and even you up there in Seattle. And Howard here
That's awesome.
is how do we get your number?
Yeah.
We made it up. We put in your area code, we put in random digits, we got you, and here you are on the show being live streamed on YouTube.
George, yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, Howard's very excited. All right, so here's what we're doing. George, Howard here is thinking of a playing card in the deck of cards, okay?
Okay.
I want you, do you know the cards? You play poker and all that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, I want you to think of any card in the deck of cards. I just want you to think of a playing card.
Okay.
Do you have one in mind?
I do.
Okay.
Do you remember the card, Howard, Joel?
Yep.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. I want you, George, to say out loud so we can hear you the card that you're thinking of right now.
Just say it out loud.
Sure.
The King of Clubs.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I can't believe it, George.
Yes, that is it.
George is like a mentalist. Yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Okay, that was a great time. All right.
I think that, and then there was something about they both had the same birthday too, Joel.
Oh, yeah, they had the same birthday.
It was really, really, really
That was
crazy.
unbelievable. That's so cool that Gunnar, they know each other. That's so awesome. Yeah, it is a small world. Gunnar said they wrote a pilot together about a magician called Twisting the Aces.
Oh
Hilarious.
my God, what happened to that? Bring it back.
That sounds great to me.
What about that? Let's get that going.
All right, so
Twisting the Aces. Oh, that sounds good.
we're going to have to end the show now because we're up on the hour. But got a nice dance break for us.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so and we're going to be in Mexico, so
Live from
should be
Mexico.
pretty wild. We don't know what's going to happen down there, but we'll see you on Tuesday. But here is the dance party. Dance 'em if you got 'em. This is my favorite, Broken Peach. Little holiday action.